Alright, you ready?
Yeah.
Alright, 3, 2, 1. What's up, Fight Bros Podcast listeners? We're back today with Fight Bros Podcast number 36. It's April 3rd, 2021. And I got my guest in here, my bro Ethan Barker. It's been a while. A lot of things been going on, and the reason for the absence for a lot of podcasts that we missed. But probably, I would say the main reason is, unfortunately, I ended up catching COVID, and my household did as well. So that kind of put us out for a little bit there. And still been dealing with some stuff going on with that. So, but recovering and ready to get this podcast back going. Another thing that kind of led to the absence is a lot of people's probably wondering about the new logo. Well, me and Albert are good. Everything's good. Albert's actually got a lot of good stuff going on these upcoming next months. So that's the reason why he wanted to take a step back and kind of be like a frequent guest moving on. Because he's got a lot of good stuff coming up, and it's kind of hard for him to make that time commitment to try to at least get one in a week or so. So everything's good. Addressing the new logo, where I wanted to where it's kind of my podcast now, I wanted to do something that kind of covered my interests. So those of you who know me personally know I'm real into cryptozoology. That's what I like to do. I like to read books on that in my spare time. Some of my favorite cryptids, is, as a lot of you know, is Bigfoot, Mothman, aliens. And I got my dog Scrappy in here. I felt like it still made it significant to the Fight Bros podcast by putting them in a ring and kind of having them face off as me as the announcer. So it kind of brings together cryptozoology and fighting. Because moving forward, I'm actually going to have some podcasts on here about cryptids that I'm going to put those under the YouTube page at FBP Cryptid Files. And we'll be covering a whole lot of different cryptid creatures moving forward, and hopefully I can get some cryptozoologists on. I know a lot of our listeners probably don't cover cryptozoology, so that'll be something different. But I'm gonna get Ethan on here to talk about some cryptids too one day.
Doubtful. I do just want to make sure it's clear that is Bigfoot and not me. So we know.
All right. So let's get it going on. I mean, UFC's still been rolling through this COVID era, and they've been getting these events going. So I want to go ahead and recap. This is probably one of the best cards. Well, it was until the co-main event got canceled. But on paper, for a while, this was one of the best cards in that COVID area. But let's recap UFC 260. Let's start out Francis Ngannou and Stipe Miocic. This was headlined by them. It ended up going down like how a lot of people thought it would with Francis's power. Francis KO'd Stipe Miocic out cold. Mm-hmm. Ethan, what's your thoughts on this? Is this how you thought it was going to go down?
A week in advance, I thought Stipe would win. I even put a little cash down on him, gambling. But then a couple days before, I ended up seeing a Instagram TV video that the UFC put out about every time the heavyweight belt changed hands. And whenever there was 2 or 3 fights in a series between fighters, the same guy never won. So I was like, like 2 days before, I was like, Francis is definitely going to win this. He improved his takedown defense big time and, got it done. Interesting, Stipe said it was going to plan until he said he saw an opportunity or something and went off game plan and got caught, but who knows.
When he had that takedown defense against that first takedown, everybody was like, oh, okay. He's got takedown defense now.
He's different.
Yeah, and I kind of thought Francis was going to get the KO for a while. I mean, I know how the first fight went. Stipe with the takedowns really dominated on the ground, but I don't know, I just think Stipe took some hard shots against DC in their fights, and I just think Francis Ngannou's power, I mean, at some point those shots do add up.
Yeah, mileage.
Yeah, and so I thought it would go like this, but I definitely, I don't know. I kind of hated to see Stipe go out like that as well.
I think he'll fight more.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get into next. So let's start out with what's next for Stipe Miocic after this fight. What is in your opinion next for him? Some
Um,
people might be saying retirement, but
I don't
yeah,
think so. If it is, it'll be short lived and he'll come back like
Mhm.
everyone else. Um, Depending what happens with Francis, obviously we have to get Jon Jones. That's what has to happen there. If it'd be the biggest
yeah,
tragedy ever if it doesn't. Then that leaves Derek Lewis will need to fight, so that would be good. Uh, Anyone new up and comer, anybody really. And I mean, if he wins again, he's right there again. So he's right
yeah.
in the mix.
Um, I don't know. I was kind of thinking. I don't think Stipe's going to retire either. I was thinking a good fight for him at heavyweight would definitely be Derek Lewis.
Hmm.
I feel like that would be a great fight for both of those. That would be Derek Lewis's fight to prove that he can challenge for that title. Now
Yeah.
we've known that he can be a top 5 contender,
Uh-huh.
but really breaking into those 1 and 2 guys and the champion has been difficult for him. Um,
Yeah, but with his new commitment to fitness, the weight he's
yeah,
lost is it. He's much better.
that's what I've seen, and definitely beating Curtis Blades was definitely a
Yeah,
statement
that's big time.
for
Um, yeah, but if Derek does fight Ngannou again, a lot of haters are gonna try and remember that first fight and bring up that first fight where
yeah.
Francis' confidence was shaken off the first fight. Derek was injured. If that does happen, we need to try and throw that away. But a lot of people are gonna keep talking about that.
Yeah, and another option for Stipe, I don't know how far fetched this option is, but I mean, he comes in pretty light at heavyweight, and he says that he's not doing that on purpose. So, what about if we could see him at 205 against Jan Blachowicz? I actually seen something on Twitter about that. I don't know if it was one of the fighters I follow or one of the MMA journalists. It was suggested because of how light he comes in, and I mean, him versus Jan Blachowicz would be a great fight at 205 if Stipe could comfortably fight at that weight class.
I didn't think about that, but
Yeah.
that is a great outside of the box idea. And even I mean, Stipe's had the belt for so long. I don't know if he still craves that, which I'm sure he does. But go make the money, and that
Yeah.
might be the biggest fight available.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely don't think Stipe's done. He's been successful, so we'll be looking forward to what's next for Stipe. We're gonna hold off on what's next for Francis because I want to cover a whole thing about that here in a few after we recap the rest of these fights. So let's move on to the co-main event that wasn't supposed to be the co-main event, but unfortunately, COVID messed up that co-main event between Alexander Volkanovski and Brian Ortega. So we still ended up getting a great fight between Vicente Luque and Tyron Woodley. It was, I mean, if you watch that fight, I didn't end up getting it, but
I didn't either.
I caught a little bit of it on some streams, if you know what I'm saying. But I mean, Woodley came out hard, man. He was throwing. He said that he was going to bring it this fight, and a lot of people were pleased. I mean, I got to see the fight from the jump. Woodley sprinted at him at the start, throwing at the beginning. So these two went back and forth. Luque got caught. Woodley got caught. Woodley ended up getting rocked, and I mean, he was kind of danced against his back to the cage. And Luque ended up getting a great submission on him. So, what's your thoughts on the way this went down?
I'm happy that Woodley. It was different this time, even though he still lost. His last few have been painful to watch. Has he been finished? Even though this was the first finish.
Yeah, this was the first finish. Yeah.
3 losses in a row of just getting dominated for the length of the fight, just not even looking like you wanted to be there. It's been so painful. So I'm happy he actually had some fire, some energy, and some aggressiveness in it. Hopefully, I wish it went different, but
Yeah.
If do we know how many fights he has on his contract left?
Oh, that was the last one.
That was he's probably done with UFC.
Dana said afterwards that they asked him about it, and he said, "Well, Tyron's 39, and he lost 4 in a row." And then all Dana said is, "So yeah."
Yeah,
That's all he said.
So
yeah. Yeah.
So Bellator,
Yeah, so I was, as being a Woodley fan, probably Woodley's my second favorite fighter. I was happy to see him go out swinging like
Yeah.
that. Like a lot of people said, and I know a lot of people in the MMA community, they say you go out on your shield,
Mm-hmm.
and so I really I like that. I hate he got submitted, but I felt like this is the best he's came in. He's always looked great and had great training camps, it seems, but
Oh yeah.
definitely I will say that he almost got finished against Burns. He took some bad shots.
I did watch that one. I remember that one.
I don't think Colby rocked him, but Colby, I guess, technically finished him because of the rib injury.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's what happened there. I knew something.
Yeah,
He broke a rib or something.
But I'm a Woodley fan. I think he's a talented dude. He can rap. I know some people make fun of his rapping, but I actually downloaded his album. I like it. Definitely one of those to listen to while you're in the gym or playing basketball. He's a good actor. He's been in a couple of movies on Netflix. But I think if he wants to stay with it, I think he might have a boxing career. He might cash in like his best friend Askren and do some of these celebrity boxing fights.
That might be a plan for him.
And then like you said, Bellator is probably an option. He used to fight under Strikeforce under Scott Croker, anyways. So maybe that's an option for Woodley down the road. I don't think this is the last we'll see of Woodley in the public eye.
No.
I think he's a successful dude, so we'll definitely see him doing something good down the road.
Yeah, even though it looks like it's over with the UFC, he has plenty of options.
And he's still a commentator, so he might come back and commentate.
That's true.
He was a pretty good commentator, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Bisping probably pretty similar in the way they treat that commentary.
Now, if he goes and fights for Bellator, is UFC going to let him keep?
Oh no, yeah, I doubt it. Yeah.
So I guess that would be a decision he'd have to make. But
yeah,
if he goes and knocks out both the Paul brothers, I guess
I could
still do it.
I could definitely see
maybe that's the option.
Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul falling out, and then maybe Woodley getting that fight
because that's not happening
because his buddy Askren's fighting Jake, but. We'll see what's next for Woodley down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But what's next for Vicente Luque? It kind of seems like he's left out of this situation. I think that moved him up to number 5 in the welterweight division. But we just got announced, and we'll cover this more later in the show. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Gilbert Burns are fighting each other. We're going to talk about this later. Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards are fighting each other. Vicente Luque just cracked the top 5, but he's kind of left out unless Colby fights him, which I doubt is going to happen.
Yeah, he might just have to be patient. Leon has been the unluckiest guy ever.
Yeah.
How long has he had to wait to fight, and then all of a sudden he got in the fight and had some fluke eye poke thing.
Maybe Belil Muhammad will get another crack at one of these top guys and
maybe
get in Luque.
Belil and Luque or something.
Because Belil definitely does. I've been watching his career for a while. He definitely deserves a top 8 at least. But let's move on to this next one. That was a big significant fight on this UFC 260 card. Sugar Sean O'Malley came back in a big way, KO'ing Thomas Almeida. What do you think about this, Ethan?
I think every once in a while a guy comes along that you catch on a prelim for free, and then he's the guy. The last one was Israel. Caught him on a prelim that whenever he caught that first promo about dog in a cage and all that. Even though he had that loss, which to me was kind of fluky. I mean, he did lose. It goes on his record. I know he's trying to say he's undefeated. But to me, he's that guy. He's the next Israel, next Connor, next John, next, whatever. And it's just, enjoy him while you can catch him for free, which might be over at this point. But he's that guy.
Yeah, I definitely think he's a star in the making. Whether he wins or loses, I feel like he's kind of got that Connor effect. Like, Connor can lose, still people are hype about it. I think O'Malley's the same way. I definitely want to see O'Malley. He claims that he never lost. He's undefeated. I know you. If you follow him on social media,
he lost.
He's really going overboard about being undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the Marlon Vera rematch. He should have took the time in the octagon to call out Marlon Vera, and he didn't. And
well, he lost to Cheeto Vera, right?
I think, yeah, I think
Yeah.
Marlon's his first name, is it?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, but everybody else knows him by Cheeto, so
Yeah.
we'll just refer to him as Cheeto. Yeah, so I would have liked to see him call out Cheeto Vera. I feel like he's kind of disrespecting Cheeto Vera because he's like, I'm not wasting my call out on you because you never beat me. But like I think me and you actually did the podcast where we broke down that fight. It's proven. They have proven that those leg kicks on him led to him injuring himself.
I don't care about him being disrespectful because
Yeah.
Cheeto is pretty disrespectful after the fight, so
Yeah.
I think that's all fair.
Yeah,
But I mean, he lost. It's on his record. It's in 20 years, whenever people look back on his career, it's going to be on his record.
yeah, because I think after the fight, O'Malley called out Dominic Cruz, and we see a lot of these guys calling out Dominic Cruz. That would be fun, but I feel like he needs to do that Cheeto Vera first because Cheeto Vera just lost to Jose Aldo, I believe. So I think those guys need to meet. They need to finish out this beef they still have. There's unfinished business between those two guys.
Maybe save it for later.
Yeah.
Let's get Dominic while Dominic's still around, and then maybe get Cheeto after that.
All right, so let's get into this next topic. We were saving what's next for Francis. All right, guys, this is what everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to see Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones at heavyweight. We've been seeing those training videos. We've seen how much weight Jon Jones put on. He's looking muscular. He's looking thick with a C. He is ready to go at heavyweight. But this has really been, I guess, Jon Jones, the way I guess this fight between him and Francis has been very confusing. Like, immediately after the fight, we was like, okay, that fight's going to be made. You know, we see tweets from Jon. He's saying, I need more money. Like, UFC's going to have to offer me money. I'm not doing this fight just for legacy and take a cut in money. He's made that pretty clear. So we'll just give you a rundown of these recent days. So let's see. A couple of days after Francis Ngannou KO'd Stipe Miocic, Jon Jones claimed that that $10 million is too low to take against Francis Ngannou. So he claims that he turned down a $10 million contract offer to fight Francis Ngannou. And forgive me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Khabib was the highest one, and he made $6 or $8 million to show against Justin Gaethje. So I believe this would have made him the highest paid to show money. Now, I may be wrong. I haven't looked into it hardcore, but what is your kind of thoughts on him supposedly turning down a $10 million contract offer?
How many pay-per-views do you think this thing would sell? I mean, it'd be over 1 million,
Yeah.
right? For sure. It'd be huge. This might be the biggest fight ever. So, I'm not sure what the pay-per-view record is for buys, but then $69.99 for all the pay-per-views, plus whatever, like, bars pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean, if they make $100 million, John's not going to get 10% of the whole thing, right?
I'm not sure how it breaks down, but
unless they can satisfy John. I mean, it's just all negotiation. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, I do definitely think Francis Ngannou, if he can keep winning, he's going to bring in so many casuals because that's what people like.
Oh, yeah.
They like a big, muscular guy. That's why people love Mike Tyson. They like seeing knockouts, and they like seeing somebody that just when you look at them, they're just so intimidating just by their stature. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people like. That's why people still, fear Mike Tyson. And I think Francis Ngannou, Jon Jones definitely brings a lot of eyes on that fight. I just feel like, just a lot of casuals are.
If you have any questions about this fight is if an NFL player or NBA player decided they wanted to fight instead of play their sport, which isn't going to happen because they can make $100 million doing those sports, and John's not going to get 10.
Yeah.
So that's never going to happen. But this fight is like two elite level athletes that could have done those sports easily. I mean, John's brothers play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Which also, like, John being so big, he has the genetics. It's in there. You know, instead of trying to cut weight and stay at 205, he's actually been able to bulk. And his body has taken right to it.
He has, yeah.
Like if you ever wondered what like LeBron James in the UFC would look like, that it's this fight.
Yeah. And let's fast forward a few days after John claimed $10 million. Probably the next day, he asked for a UFC release.
Yeah.
He played tweet and delete. He ended up deleting that tweet a couple hours later, but he asked for the UFC to go ahead and release him. And then you had Scott Coker from Bellator chiming in, saying he could. It might not have been Scott Coker, but it was some other promoters chiming in saying that they could pay John more. Obviously, that's not going to happen because I'm pretty positive he's still in UFC contract. So, but it's obviously John's made it known that he's not happy about this pay. My take on it is, I feel like John's asking for so much because I feel like he knows there is a higher chance than any other fight that he can lose, and I feel like this is more about money to him than it is, I guess, legacy. And I know that he makes it seem like he's like, you know, I've had 15 title defenses, this and that. But I feel like Jon Jones's name isn't as hot right now as other guys' names are. I mean, because you look at what's John's last couple of fights, Thiago Santos, kind of dull. Arguably, Thiago beat him. Probably not as good as an argument that Dominic Reyes beat him. Dominic Reyes, there's probably a pretty good argument there that he beat him. But both pretty dull fights for Jon Jones from what I guess people expect out of him. And that's nothing against him. I just feel like where he's such a star, people are expecting him to knock out or submit somebody. And, you know, there was just a lot of kind of dull fights at that 205 division with him, and that's why he had to get out.
Yeah. I don't think he thinks he's going to lose to Francis. I think he doesn't think there's a person on this planet that could beat him in a fight.
Yeah, and that's what we want.
I think it's strictly cash.
Yeah, so he definitely wants to be paid for his services, and the fans want to see that. And let's fast forward. Did I send you this yesterday morning or something? So fast forward a couple of more days later, Jon Jones said that him and Dana White had dinner. The conversation went good, and he said, we're looking to announce the fight in pretty soon. And then Dana...
April 1. April Fool's.
Oh, was it April Fool's?
Yeah.
But Dana tweeted back at him.
Yeah, Dana was playing along.
Well, they April Fooled me.
Yeah, because I watched... Ariel goes on Pat McAfee every once in a while, and Pat asked him about it. Ariel's like, April Fool's. Like, that's what that is.
Oh, wow.
Ariel's like, if anything like that, it would come through me and ESPN. It wouldn't be a tweet, you know?
Yeah. Well, wow. That's the best April Fool's I've ever got in my life, because I didn't even think that they would do. I didn't even think Dana would buy into something like that.
Oh, no, Dana has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Dana would like that kind of stuff.
So definitely the biggest fight to make in the UFC right now, any weight class
ever.
This needs to be the ultimate summer showdown. We need to see this fight. We don't want Derek Lewis to get it.
It has to happen.
Yeah, it has to happen. They cannot miss on this. I feel like they missed on Jon Jones, Israel Adesanya, and that fight's probably not going to happen now.
It can't happen.
Yeah, and so they got to make this happen, and I hope they get it through. Anything else you want to touch on this?
If this does not happen, it is twice as tragic as Tony and Khabib never fighting.
Yeah.
And I mean, and to be honest, like, if it's even financially feasible to give John the money he wants, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Because the casuals that it's going to bring in, and you might, who knows what the ceiling for this thing is. If they get it and promote it right, it's so much money. They could get so many people to buy it and look and watch.
I agree.
I mean, just two absolute monsters.
Yeah.
Greatest fighter of all time, and this just monster from Africa that has the greatest story ever, from working in a sand mine to being homeless to now he's a champion. It's just
not starting MMA training till 31 years old?
Yeah, which is why John beats him. But
okay.
but the way you could promote it and there's just the two fighters that it would be the biggest fight ever.
Yeah. We definitely got to see that. Hopefully, we get a later summer showdown with that. Let's move on to some another big announcement over the last couple of days. In a surprise, Nate Diaz is returning to fight Leon Edwards. Leon was due a money fight or a contender fight. They're going to meet at UFC 262 in the first 5-round non-title co-main event. Is that correct?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, they might have did it for Nate and Connor. Maybe. I don't remember. They might have had a co-main event.
I don't know.
Yeah. But either way,
That was
Leon,
the second one was 5 rounds. Or was that a main event?
that one was the main event, the second one. So the first one might not have been. So this, I think
Well, it didn't matter. Well, who knows because it ended. But
yeah.
and it was a co-main event because there was Ronda.
Yeah, the Ronda was
so
the
it's when
main
she
event.
lost to Holly Holm.
Yeah.
That's just the great.
That was just an upset card.
Yeah,
if
it was.
If Sportsbook would have been around then.
I was in Gatlinburg. I remember.
Yeah. But Leon finally gets his due fight. If he couldn't get a title fight, I feel like this is the next best thing for Leon in the win streak he's had. And then what a fight to come back to for Nate Diaz. I mean, we're sitting around thinking, I remember he did that interview with Ariel Helwani, and everybody knows Nate Diaz is my favorite fighter. Mm-hmm. I was excited because he was like, yeah, I'm ready to come back. Like, UFC needs to offer me, I think 3 or 4 months ago, Dana White said they had a fight that would put Nate in a very good position, and everybody thought it was Justin Gaethje. And then we were sitting here, seeing Justin without a fight, and was like, okay, maybe he is fighting Nate. Where they kind of left him out of the picture, and Nate comes back to take the toughest fight that you could get right now with everybody that's booked in the welterweight division.
Nate's not scared.
Yeah, and this kind of gives me flashbacks of Nate coming back against Michael Johnson. I don't know, man, and that might rub people wrong, but you remember when he came back and starched Michael Johnson to make those. He didn't finish him or anything, but it was just starched him in 5 rounds to make his comeback after he laid off for 2 years at that point.
Is that when he called Connor out after that fight?
That's when he called Connor out. So this is kind of giving me flashbacks about
dropping
that.
F-bombs on Fox.
Yeah, I think.
No, that's an exciting fight, and I have no idea how that would go.
And the card,
because you haven't really seen either one of those guys.
Yeah.
Leon, like we said, is the most unlucky guy ever.
The eye poke, yeah.
And then he had to wait forever for a fight, and he finally gets the fight, and he gets the eye poke deal, which it was an accident, it was a fluke.
And fast forward, when Leon called out Nate to take the fight, when Hazmat had to cancel. Nate Diaz was like, I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah.
Fast forward, probably a month and a half, 2 months later, Nate takes the fight. He knew who that guy was.
Yeah. No.
But I'm so excited for this fight. This fight puts both guys in great positions with a win. I mean, imagine if Nate wins and Masvidal wins. That Masvidal Usman fight. Either way, if Nate wins, he doesn't really need Masvidal to win.
I mean, either win, either there's a title shot, right?
Yeah,
Leon's undeniable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I do feel like, let's say Nate won and Usman won, I don't think Nate would taste that Usman fight.
What if Masvidal wins and Leon wins? Because remember they had that backstage.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
That would be the deal.
Either way, it's a good fight. I don't really want to see Usman Leon, so I hope that we get I hope that either Nate upsets Leon or Masvidal can. I don't think it's gonna happen, but if Masvidal did upset Usman,
I wouldn't think so. But the lifespan as a champion in the UFC is so short, and Usman's been there a while. And, the knees and all that. That's eventually going to catch up. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. But this is such an exciting fight. I can't wait for UFC 262. We have Michael Chandler versus Charles Oliveira, Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards.
Michael Chandler's my guy.
Yeah, and then there's another fight on there under that one that I'm missing. which it's okay because we'll cover that
Mm-hmm.
closer to that fight. But let's get into some other news here. Speaking about Conor McGregor earlier, Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier, it seems like they have got this fight worked out. It seems that they are good to go for July 10th.
So, no, I saw this morning Connor had an Instagram post. It's signed. Both people have
Okay.
signed. July 10th, it's down.
So it's going down. The third fight between those two, it's going down. It's 1-1, and man, that's a good fight. Dustin to just show the significance of this fight, guys. Dustin Poirier turned down a title fight against Charles Oliveira to take this fight against Conor. A fight against Conor is more important than the title, and I kind of agree at that point. Dustin's already been interim champion. He needs to be the real champion, but at this point, there's still a lot of uncertainty in that lightweight division. That's why Dana gave the title fight to Charles and Michael. They're deserving, but we just don't know out of like the top 5 who deserves it the most. Obviously, we know Conor doesn't deserve it at this point with getting finished against Dustin. He's got a chance to redeem himself. But yeah, so I mean, great fight. I'm glad Conor gets that third fight against Dustin.
Yeah.
I feel like the third fight between him and Diaz has been taking a little too long.
Mm-hmm. It's been so long now.
They're waiting too long on that, so,
I think this worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
The winner of Conor Dustin fights Chandler after he beats Oliveira.
Yeah. It's
just you got to figure out Gaethje, right?
Yeah. Gaethje's
And Tony's got a fight too, right?
Balil Darnoush.
Yeah.
Benil.
Oh yeah. Darnoush, yeah.
So that's
a fight too.
That's the third fight on the UFC 262.
There's a lot of exciting things
goodness.
happening in lightweight, and Sean O'Malley's a lightweight, right? Or is he a featherweight?
Featherweight,
okay,
yeah.
So never mind.
So definitely,
Man, you get him up there against Holloway or something. That'd be so fun.
So definitely exciting news, that third fight between Dustin and Conor going down July 10th. A great fight in that later part of the summer, definitely. And I sent you this the other day. I wanted to talk about this too. So UFC has signed Cage Warriors champion Paddy Pimilton.
Yeah.
And I might have pronounced his last name wrong. I don't really know too much about the guy. I've seen his highlight videos probably a year or two ago. I've kept up with him a little bit with highlights. The first reason I heard of him is because I seen him do an interview, and I was like, wait, that guy called out somebody like Darren Till.
Yeah.
Like he talks just like Darren Till, like calling people scousers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what that means.
No,
hopefully nothing bad.
Some British stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully nothing bad. But yeah, so this guy is going to be entering, I believe, the featherweight or lightweight division moving forward. So he's definitely going to provide some entertainment. I believe he should probably, if he's on the borderline, probably go the featherweight route. I believe that's off the top of my head. I think he's going that route, but definitely, pay attention to that signing moving forward, because that's a pretty good signing by the UFC.
Yeah, we'll see how he responds to the increased competition level, but
yeah.
Always good to have new talent.
Yep. And then just last night as well, some other big news. Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega. That fight is going to happen, but first they're going to return as not Contender Series.
Ultimate Fighter.
Ultimate Fighter coaches, yep. They're going to return as the Ultimate Fighter coaches. There's been a lot of questions who is going to return as the coaches of the new season, and we have that down now. They said the fight will be determined at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. So I would say we'll probably get that fight August, September, I would assume, because they're going to do that filming over the summer, I would say. A good fight. I wish we would have got a little bit more popular guys, I guess.
It's the smaller weight classes. It's going to be tough. Well, that's featherweight. So
yeah.
Well, you take Max out of it.
I know. People kind of wanted Kamaru and Masvidal. People just wanted those high-profile guys. I feel like Volkanovski and Ortega, they respect each other. So they're not going to give you that reality TV kind of tension that you want to see on there. But
maybe the strategy is to put the lesser known guys to try and.
But that's okay. I mean, this might be a
baby face them a little bit with the public.
So definitely, I've never watched Ultimate Fighter before, but I definitely where I'm into UFC a little bit more now, I definitely want to give that a watch. Do you know what channel that comes on? It might just be on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, or maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I've definitely never kept up with that, but I want to start getting into that in the future.
I almost said Paramount, but obviously it started on Spike and it's not there anymore.
Oh, yeah. I remember Spike TV. Yeah.
Well, it's Paramount now.
Oh, yeah, Paramount.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to a little bit other news. We don't really have, I don't think there is a UFC fight coming up this weekend. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's why I wanted to talk about this a little bit. So some familiar faces that us UFC fans know are going to be fighting on TNT April 10th. This is One Championship's first show on a national TV stage, being on TNT. This is one on TNT 1 is what they're calling it. So we have.
Also, it's not TNT. Is it streaming or what is it?
Oh, it's on TNT.
Oh,
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been, if you watch NBA TV on TNT, like with Shaq and Charles Barkley, they've been kind of doing commercials and hyping it up a little bit.
That's good. That's good promotion.
Yeah, so, I mean, we get to see who some call the GOAT, Mighty Mouse. He's actually fighting for the title. I don't know the name against the gentleman he's fighting against, but that's just where we're not familiar with One Championship, so hopefully this will be a good show and catch our eyes over here in the United States and kind of give us
hopefully
an introduction into that.
I like that they're pushing it because it's all I've heard. I didn't know about it until I heard it on a podcast the other day, one of Barstool's podcasts. So they're pumping it, they're pushing it. So hopefully, and it's going to be good fights. Hopefully, enough people check in, and it's going to be a battle to try and compete with the UFC. But if they can get free on TV and have this level fights, they have a chance.
Yeah, and you got Eddie Alvarez coming back. He got off to a kind of rocky start in One Championship with his debut. He got finished, and that kind of let us UFC fans know, okay, it's real over there. Like there's good fighters in every single one of these organizations.
Yeah, no, especially that one. That one is.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know it, but in Asia, it's the biggest one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's mostly Asian fighters, but like they're legit dudes. The competition in my eyes is just as good, if not better.
And I wish Sage was on this card too. I was a big Sage Northcutt fan.
Yeah. Was it him or Eddie that broke his orbital and just got smoked? That
was Sage, and he has been out for a while. He's got a fight. I don't think it's on this card, but yeah, he got finished against, what was that guy's name? Cosmo or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
it was one of those deals. It's like no one knew who that guy was, but if you look him up, it's like, oh,
yeah,
it's a dude.
Yeah, and I was hoping Sage would win that because I feel like he was the youngest UFC male signed. Mm-hmm. He might have been the youngest signed in first, and up until his UFC release, he actually kind of turned it around. I still think he's with Uriah Faber. What's that, Team Alpha Male? So it seemed like he turned it around once he got with Team Alpha Male, and but yeah, definitely keep your eyes on one on TNT April 10th, I think. Definitely check out some of these former UFC guys, especially Mighty Mouse. I mean, think about Mighty Mouse having a title in One Championship and UFC, and then Eddie Alvarez as well. He's not a title fight at this fight, but I think this is a contender fight. And Eddie Alvarez did say it. He would be the first person to hold a UFC title, a Bellator title, and a One Championship title if he could win the title. And he would be one of those first ones to complete the trifecta.
The Triple Crown.
Yeah, the Triple Crown. So we didn't get to see Ben Askren do it.
No.
So
just short.
Yeah, but he's good. We'll get to see him win some type of crown against Jake Paul, maybe.
I think he will.
Yeah, I do too. I'm excited for that fight. I think that fight's April 15th, so we should be talking about that next week on the podcast.
Which one? So there's Jake and Logan.
Yep. Logan just debuted on WWE SmackDown last night. So,
he's the bigger one, right?
Yeah.
He's the actual athlete.
Yeah, both of these guys, their names are hot. So they can do anything they
Yeah.
want. I mean, Logan was
So-
just about to fight Floyd Mayweather. It still might happen. And then last night he comes out on SmackDown. He's with Sami Zayn on SmackDown.
He's better off in WWE.
Yeah.
So Jake is smaller but older, or what? I don't know anything about these guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I do follow him on social media.
Well, he's getting punked by Ben Askren on their press conferences, though.
Yeah, that was nice, and it actually changed. Ben Askren now is the favorite because of what happened at the press conference, which that is weird. But
keeps his emotions, keep his control.
Yeah, but
I mean, a guy that's actually trained. I know I said that Nate Robinson would win that fight just based off athleticism, but it was very clear he didn't take that seriously.
Yeah, and did you see the Ben Askren Rocky Balboa promo? That was great. You need to watch that. I think I sent it to you on Twitter or something.
Probably.
But it was great. He
I haven't been on Twitter in a while.
put a picture of Jake Paul in a frame where Jake Paul kind of looked like Ivan Drago, and he was like looking at it like Rocky, like staring in it, like having flashbacks and stuff. And then all of a sudden Ben Askren's out in the snow running with boots on, and he's playing the Rocky music. He's like doing squats with logs on his back.
See, I think Askren's having fun.
Yeah.
He's like completely in control. He's obviously has.
That's what he said.
He's having fun. The level-headedness and just experience, even though he is a grappler, he'll be fine.
Yeah, he said he wanted to enjoy your retirement, and he said, I didn't mean not competing in retirement, so I like it. I mean, he's still got that, passion to do combat sports. And I've actually watched some of his sparring, and I do think it's going to be a tough time for Jake because Ben can take a shot regardless of how people view the Masvidal fight. I mean, you got to think the power of a knee
and how hard a knee is
coming to your face, and Ben Askren had never been finished up to that point. I know he got submitted by Damian Maia, but that's different. Getting submitted and knocked out is definitely different. And but in his sparring, it was a lot of dirty boxing, like kind of like grabbing the back of the head, and I don't think Jake's going to fare well with that because
it's going to frustrate him.
It's going to be so not what he's used to with his sparring partners. I don't think people could replicate that.
Or Ben's doing that, so now Jake goes and trains that.
Yeah.
Then, I would not put it past Ben to do some sneaky New England Patriots type stuff.
And what I like about this fight too is my boy Tyron Woodley. He's going to be in Ben's corner. So there's something next to Tyron Woodley, and I do think because Jake's already called out Tyron Woodley a couple of times, calling him a bum and stuff for being in Ben's corners. So definitely, Logan's gonna be there. We might be seeing Tyron Woodley get involved into something down the road because of this.
Tyron WWE.
Yeah. I would love it.
That would be good.
All right. Last topic right here, Darren Till. Oh my goodness! Unfortunately, Darren Till is out. We've been waiting for that Darren Till versus Marvin Vettori fight. Definitely sucks. It's kind of gut wrenching right here, hearing that news. And but that guy who wants to fight all the time, we know who it is. It's not a Kamzat, but he wants to fight all the time as well. But Kevin Holland is stepping in
straight
to take
off
this
a loss,
fight
right?
against Marvin Vettori. Yeah, and
let's go. That's big time.
Straight off a loss. He wants to make up for that loss. That was kind of a tough loss. Who did he fight again?
It was a decision loss, right?
He kept getting taken down. Derek Brunson.
Yeah, Brunson.
Yep, and Kevin Holland kept hollering outside of the cage to Khabib to give him wrestling advice, and it was a lot of people kind of felt he was joking around too much, but I just think that's the kind of guy he is, and he jokes around all the time and talks trash all the time, so that's not taking him off his game.
He has a personality.
Yeah. But Marvin Vettori got a lot of people's respect with his last fight against.
He fought Israel tough too when Israel was coming up. So I mean, he's a guy.
Yeah, and so definitely, be on the lookout for that fight. I think that's probably like the only fight on that April 10th card. That's April 10th as well as one. I might have those mixed up. One championship is April 7th, I think. It's on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this is for the April 10th card, which is not too good of an undercard, but yeah. All right, Ethan. So to end out the show here, we got a lot of good fights coming up. Heading into the summer. I just want you to speak on what fight is the most appealing to you, just yourself, not hype, that is announced already.
Oh, well, that's announced.
Yeah.
Uh, Chandler. Chandler
Okay.
and Oliveira. I'm a big Chandler fan. And one thing I was going to mention about Till, he has to get healthy. UFC has to get him going back. They have to do everything they can to get. They need to keep that guy around.
He's one of those guys that they've stuck through the losses and
Yeah.
kept trying to give him that push. And yeah, he's got a.
There may be better fighters, but he's a really. I mean, he's an elite level guy with personality. Everyone hates the talking and I love it. He actually has a personality. It's fighting. They're gonna talk crap to each other. Let's do it. But the UFC has to keep him around to have a popular face that can handle his own promotion. So they need to keep him.
Yeah. So you said the fight you was looking forward to the most was Michael Chandler. Charles
Chandler.
Oliveira. That's what's up. We got a lot of good fights coming down the road. Probably for myself, I'm Nate Diaz. That's my guy. I don't care who he's facing. I'm picking him.
Yeah. Well, I mean that is going to be a great fight.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards for my fight, but tons of good fights coming.
Now, did
down
we
the
talk
road.
about Wonder Boy and Burns?
No, we didn't. I'm glad you brought that up.
So that's another
Yeah.
one. Well, maybe. You never know with Wonder Boy where he does that counter striking, but Gilbert Burns will bring it to him.
Yep.
So, Gilbert Burns will push especially coming off a loss.
Wonder Boy wins. Hard to push away a title shot.
Now, my only is what Woodley tried to do. I don't know what Woodley's mindset was, but he tried the strategy he tried was that counter striking, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Hopefully Wonder Boy does better. Maybe a kick or something, but that could be a good fight.
Yeah, that's what's up. So yeah, we'll end it there today. We got a lot of good UFC fights coming up, guys. Please reach out to me if you want to be on the podcast. We got a couple of different things going on. I've got it set up now where I can do some FaceTime podcasts that I'm gonna try to get in that way. I can do podcasts, with people out of state or whatever. So please reach out, guys, if you're interested in cryptids. We've got those FBP cryptid file podcasts coming up. I hope to get one of those in next week, and I'm still working on a guest to get next weekend for our Combat Sports UFC podcast. But yeah, just reach out if you want to be on. Feel free. Don't be scared. It's not. You can ask Ethan.
It's fun.
It's fun. It's not hard to do the podcast. I know I've reached out to a lot of people that are kind of nervous, but don't be nervous because it's not live, so we can fix anything we need to fix.
Yeah.
But Ethan, I want to thank you for being on today and coming on. I'm glad we get to do this again. But you got anything else, man?
No, thanks for having me. I'll come do it anytime.
Oh, sweet, man. All right, guys, it's good to be back. Until next time.